Yes, on paper, it's true. This is a game the #1 Georgia Bulldogs should easily put away, but that is not the mindset in the slightest that Georgia coach Kirby Smart has heading into Kent State on Saturday. Hey everybody, this is Sarah Spencer with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and this is Know Your Dogs. This episode is gonna be previewing that game against Kent State, and to help me do that, I'll be joined by Smart, Darnell Washington, Kira Straxon, and my colleague, our Georgia beat writer, Chip Towers. So stay with us.
They got a really good football team. They've got a quarterback that I didn't know a lot about, who is, number one, he's a tremendous athlete. Number two, he makes a lot of people miss. He's dynamic with the ball in his hand. He's made some wow throws. I mean, you're going to hear about this guy. He's had some 60, 70-yard passes that are incredible. They've got some really good wideouts. They're a talented team. And then you go watch them on defense. They do enough different defensively that it can create issues for you, because it's not what you see every day. It's a little more new age defense, which people are playing to affect teams that are on the perimeter more, second level, fitters, able to disguise a little more. So I know you guys don't ever listen to anything we say in here, but this is a really good football team, and they have played two really good teams. And you watch the first half of the Oklahoma game, you have no question how good they are. And they really played Washington well outside of first couple drives. Washington scored on them, but outside of that, they went toe-to-toe with Washington.
So we have actually had to adjust the height of our tripod quite a few times today, because one of the Georgia players we spoke with is 6'7" tight end Darnell Washington. You've seen him hurdle guys, you've seen him manhandle defenders. He is a tough guy to miss. One of the things Washington mentioned, and this is something that this tight end room is really focused on, is being okay not being the guy that always has the ball in his hands, being willing to share the ball, and also being really committed to downfield blocking.
In high school, I didn't block at all, so I'm gonna just be real. So when I first, I forgot what game it happened in, but when it just brought enjoyment, and I was just happy, seeing Zamir or Cook, score, and I I know, he scored because of my block or things like that. So I just let's do it more often, And so I just kind of had that mindset and dominating the run game or blocking anything. Yeah, it for sure took time and, kind of maturity as that. And, I just embraced my role. And I mean, I'm 6'7.5", 280. So you can't catch the ball forever,
Kent State is known for its flash-fast offense and really bringing tempo on that side of the ball, but actually, when Kira Straxon sat down with Georgia coaches to watch the Golden Flashes game against Oklahoma, it was actually Kent State's speed on defense that stood out to him.
And when I first watched Kent, I have a homeboy who I played with growing up, CJ Harris. He played defense there, so growing up, me and him always used to battle a lot. We played on the same team, but when I came in on Sunday, after I went to BMAC office, we was up there watching. We was watching the first series versus the Oklahoma game. I was like, and them boys out there flying around, so I got a lot of respect for Kent State. How the way they played, they done played in multiple Power 5 opponents already, Washington, Oklahoma. When you go watch those games, they play hard.
All right, everybody, let's bring in my colleague, Chip Towers, our Georgia beat writer. Chip, Georgia coach Kirby Smart has been pretty complimentary of Kent State, honestly. He's been very, very open about, that flash-fast offense. That's nothing to joke around about.
No, it's not. This is a team that really goes fast on offense. And if you think about it, now they've played a pretty tough schedule. Oklahoma and Washington.
They played Washington well.
Played them well, and they're averaging 28.7 points coming in here. So certainly they ran up a lot against Long Island University, but they really can score. They can score the ball. That's the one thing they do. And, I know it's going to annoy Georgia fans and everybody wants it, not in our end zone. But I have a feeling it could be an aggravating day from that standpoint, because they are good at moving the football.
Kent State coach Sean Lewis, I always kind of laugh, sometimes when coaches, the lead up to the game, it's is this a mind game or is this really how you feel? But he was really complimentary of Georgia too coming into this game.
Yeah, to a ridiculous level. I actually put it here, so I made sure I quoted him accurately. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say it's the greatest collection of talent that has ever been assembled on a college football team. That's what he said about the Georgia Bulldogs.
Just your average run-of-the-mill compliment.
Yeah,
like, you're fine.
That was it. So we actually asked Kirby about it earlier in the week about, what do you think that was all about? And he said, he wants everybody to know when they beat us that we were a good team. And of course, Kirby was kidding a little bit. Georgia is a 45.5-point favorite at one point this week anyway, coming into this game. So Vegas doesn't expect Kent State to win, but certainly a lot of respect on both sides of the field this week.
It is kind of crazy to think about, though. I mean, Georgia just whooped South Carolina. Everybody expected the game against Oregon to be close. It was. I mean, Georgia's blowing pretty much everybody out. Honestly, if you look at it, Kent State might be poised to give them a little bit of a better game than some other teams have.
You and I talked about this, but I'm not 100% sure this won't be the best team Georgia plays. I mean, I say that with all due respect to South Carolina, and certainly Georgia played as close to a perfect game as you possibly can, especially against an SEC opponent. But this is a team, they're not going to be intimidated. They've already been to Oklahoma. They've already been to Washington.
They're used to the big to-do.
What do you got to lose, right? And, of course, Georgia wants to make a statement too. And, Kirby's shared some really cool things this week with us about how they're focused on getting better. They're actually doing, self-improvement exercises to make sure that, they go into this week to get better and not just to cruise through it.
And on paper, I mean, of course, yes, this looks like the line's 45?
Yeah.
On paper, this looks like it's going to be a blowout, but you never know. And I think that's why Kirby Smart is like that, not letting these guys kind of get ahead of themselves.
Yeah, and, there's also a side of him, I'm sure, that is excited about seeing what his defense can do. Obviously, Georgia's defense has been unbelievable at this point, averaging 3.3 points allowed per game. But this will be a different kind of test. Colin Schlee, I think his name is, the quarterback. He can really chunk it around. They have a good run game. They go so fast, just up to the line of scrimmage. And that's going to be a good test for what awaits Georgia further down the SEC road.
And one thing folks should know, Georgia might not be 100% healthy going into this game. Catch us up on some injuries.
Well, it's going to be interesting. So this is too where you wonder, do you, even if you can play, if you're not 100% sure, do you play? Jalen Carter,
right,
Georgia's best defensive lineman, is dealing with an ankle injury. Is Georgia going to need him and going to play? I don't know. He hasn't practiced much this week, and we'll see if he does in the game. A.D. Mitchell, he could come back. But do you want him to come back in a game like this? We'll see. I don't think Georgia is going to sit anybody that they think can help them win, but I think you'll see them be pretty cautious in this one.
All right, we'll find out Saturday. Chip, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to everybody for watching. Make sure you go to ajc.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel to find more videos just like this.